Hello, friends. We are doing Pandemic Cooking 101, brought to you by myself, Teal Sky Heller. Okay, it's come to this, folks. We all have that one sad, decrepit piece of fruit left in our pantry. And perhaps it's time to find a home for that. And it's not, it's not enough to really share with the family. So voila, we're gonna make mango bars. What are mango bars, you ask? Well, they're lemon bars using a mango because that's what's left in my pantry. And to boot, I found a bag of frozen mango cubes in the freezer. Okay, so this recipe is online because I thought I would mix it up today and do a recipe I have never done before. I know, we're living on the edge, folks. Living on the edge. Okay, so what do we got? We got RicardoCuisine.com. And look, neurotic dog running through the house again. Love it. All right, so Ricardo, he's given us this recipe. I have no idea if it's any good. So here's what I did. Because I am living the extrovert trapped in my house life, I planned ahead. This is a shortbread crust. And you say, shortbread, but Teal, you're out of butter. I know, I am. So I went searching for a replacement and I found some ghee. That is like exactly butter. I mean, it pretty much means I'm lying that I was out of butter because look, I have ghee. So for baking, here is another substitute you can do. Coconut oil. Yeah, it's all backwards because phones, whatever. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what kind of cook you are. So there's some things that we all kind of let slide. Things that when we're home and we're cooking for the fam, we let them slide. If we were taking it to, the sports team potluck, we might not do it. So this ghee, perhaps it's expired. But it's only expired this month. So it was at the beginning of the month. That's okay. The children are tough, super tough. I think a little food poisoning will be fine. Okay, no judgment there. No judgment. So I have this shortbread crust, and because we are a GF family, we use GF flour. And I'm just going to put in a little plug for this. Don't be mistaken with Bob's Red Mill in a red bag. That stuff is vile. I don't know who thought of garbanzo beans turning into flour, but they pretty much ruin anything you make with it. So Bob's Red Mill blue bag, you can use 1-to-1 on most recipes, not like bread. Let's not go crazy here. GF bread is like a whole scientific experiment that we're not going to go there right now. Okay, so where are we at? We've made the crust. It cooked, it cooled, it's full of ghee. I don't know if it's going to taste good because honestly, think about it. What goes with mangoes? Coconut. I probably should have used coconut oil, but I didn't. Moving on. Okay, the next thing is that we need a mango puree. Now, we're gonna go over kind of how to cut a mango. And look, I already cut half of it. There you go. So when you cut a mango, if you don't already know this, and you're not gonna just dig into it, you want to cut down on either side of that huge pit inside. So we're doing that. I don't know if you can actually see my little workspace. I don't think so. Anyways, so here's my little half moon mango, and I'm going to do a little crisscross pattern. Don't let your children do this with the sharp knives. But actually, yeah, so don't stab this through your palm. We all know that in Alaska, you just lower your standards when it comes to fruit. So do I care that part of this mango is rock hard like an apple and a part of it is kind of brown and mushy? No, we're going to move past that. Lower your standards. Okay, here we go. We did the little crisscross pattern. See that? Crisscross applesauce. Flip it inside out. Boom. Mango cubes. Okay, we are going to just slice those off. Here, you can see technique. Now, I said earlier, no judgment. So when I did the first half of this mango, there were some spots that were not real nice and yellow. I threw them out. Yeah, no judgment. I do not do fruit that tastes overripe. That's because I grew up in Alaska and I'm used to unripe fruit. And that whole like mango wine flavor does not do it for me. If you like it, I'm not judging. Use that brown stuff, but I'm not gonna. So, okay, so we're gonna get this thing skinned out. Now, the recipe says 2 cups of mangoes will make 1 cup of puree. Now, you might ask, why am I doing this before I mix anything else together? Here's the deal, folks. I don't have a lot of faith in my my NutriBullet. I think I'm going to need to add liquid. The only liquid in this recipe is lemon juice and eggs. So I might have to resort to that. Okay, back to the mango. Now see this little skinny portion here? If you're feeling like super depression era, you know, like pandemic gone crazy, and you really need this in the recipe, trim off the skin and just like go to town on this. Me, I'm going to save it later to gnaw on it like the small beast that I am, and I'm going to hide it from the children because I love mangoes, and as a child I had to share them, so now I really try not to share anything when it comes to mangoes. Just saying. Okay, so we've got our chunks of mangoes. I have no idea if this is 2 cups, but it looks like a goodly amount. We're going to flip it upside down. And this is where, like, okay, so some of you prep with like lots of dried beans in your pantry. So my prepping means I have a little microphone for my videos. We all prep in different ways, folks. Okay, I'm just going to cover this up and do this. I can't do it, actually. I can't cover it. Damn. If you don't have a NutriBullet, you should get one. I didn't even have to add any liquid. Okay, one more shot. Okay, I'm a little enthralled with that. Now, this is super runny. Actually, I think it might be perfect. Look, perfection. All right, we're gonna go to town here. I am gonna actually measure that because every now and again I get weird like that, and I measure something. I know, overboard. But we're gonna measure because I actually. Oh, it's not a cup. It's not even really close to a cup. So now is where you brainstorm, okay? So you could go find other fruit in your pantry. Do you got something else? I mean, would a plum taste good with this? I know plums aren't in season. No one in Alaska has a plum. Perhaps you have some apples. I got some oranges. But saved. I got a little excited early. Okay, I have a full cup. So I'm going to set that aside. Now the recipe calls for 3 eggs. So I got my little eggs going here. So let's, you might be out of eggs. You might be. I'm not. Nope, I'm not. Because I told the children that we were almost out of eggs and they stopped eating them. Because the first day, we went through a dozen eggs. One day. Put a stop to that. Oh. And, oh, I thought the egg was frozen. The back of my fridge sometimes does that. Okay, I didn't get a towel here. Drama, trouble here. I don't know. No one's here to help me. I'm all alone. Okay, so we have 3 eggs. They're all fine. None of them are frozen. That was just a momentary freak out. So we're going to whisk those eggs to death. And we're going to put in half a cup of sugar. Now, like I said, if you're subbing in a different fruit, we're calling this, you know, your orange bars. Or now, okay, be careful with oranges because the liquid in those oranges is going to wreak havoc when you go to bake it. So how do you counteract that? Cornstarch. So, like a good GF person, I don't thicken things with flour. I use cornstarch. And cornstarch, the trick is, people, you got to beat the I'm going to try and swear less. Okay, I'm going to do that for you. You got to beat it to death because you don't want little clumps because that does you no good. So what am I going to do here? I'm not going to put it into the puree or the eggs thing. We're going to do something here. I have my lemon juice. Woo, woo, woo. Pre-measured. Now, are we even pretending like I have fresh lemons left? No, I ran out of those back with the butter. So, yep, good old lemon juice in the jar. This is not a time, folks, to get hung up on freshness. This is a time to use what you have. Okay, I got this. I got my whisk. We're all going to put this together, so it doesn't matter if, you know, if your whisk isn't clean because it was just in the eggs. Like, get over your bad self. Mix that stuff up. Okay, now my lemon juice and cornstarch is all good. So I'm going to whisk that into the eggs and sugar. See, pro tip, friends, pro tip, mix up the cornstarch in the lemon juice. That recipe won't tell you that now. They're just going to let you pour it in on the clumpy eggs and pay dearly for it. Okay, that was a tablespoon of cornstarch. So if you used oranges and you have all this extra liquid, maybe drain off some liquid like a normal person, but I recommend maybe 2 tablespoons. There's conversion charts on the intranet that you can use and figure out exactly how much cornstarch you need to thicken your runny orange puree, but that's on you, ladies and gentlemen. That's on you. Okay, so I got my mangoes. And I already put in my lemon juice with the cornstarch, so bam, bada boom. Okay. FYI, this is super runny. It's super runny. I'm gonna not trust the recipe because okay, I really do try to make a recipe like following the recipe the first time, but this just seems a little too runny for only 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So I'm gonna add in, it's gonna be clumpy. I poured it right into everything. We're gonna live on the edge, folks. We're gonna live on the edge. Yeah, okay, 1.5 tablespoons. We got like cups and cups of runniness. I give up. I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna make sure I got everything. Mango puree, 3 eggs, cornstarch, sugar. So it is at this point in my baking when I say, wow, that's super runny, that I usually call a friend, which sometimes includes my good friend Jody, who can bake anything deliciously. And I would say, what do you think? More cornstarch? But I'm on a video, so I'm not going to call a friend. Use that lifeline. Okay, let's see what the recipe actually tells me to do. Combine the sugar and cornstarch. Oh, so they're saying combine that sugar and cornstarch. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. You should do that. I didn't do that. No, not at all. Some people recommend reading the instructions to the recipe before starting. I don't really do that either. Stir in the mango puree and lemon juice. Pour onto the crust. Where's my crust? Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you this. This is parchment paper. Another way that I prep in ways that perhaps you don't. I have a lot of parchment paper. If you don't, you could use, actually, I would just grease the hell out of the pan, but you could use tin foil, maybe. Let's have a little chat about your tin foil. There are 2 sides, the shiny and the dull, and it matters. It matters so much that I don't use tin foil anymore because I've messed it up so many times. Don't ask me what side you put the shiny or the dull towards. It's just walk away, folks. Just grease the hell out of the pan. You're going to be good. But I used parchment paper because why not? I have it. So I'm going to pour in my deliciousness. I could have tasted it. Probably should have. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Didn't. All right. So, folks, right there. This is how you use up your last sad, pathetic piece of fruit in your pantry, or that little bag of frozen somethings you have in there that's sweet and fruity. Sugar, substitute brown sugar, substitute powdered sugar, doesn't really matter. Just make it sweet. I bet you could use honey. All right, but that NutriBullet, that's key. I'm going to post the recipe, maybe just a link to the recipe, even though like his security certificate's expired and you're going to get tons of warning. I might actually have a virus right now. I mean, not that virus, not that one, a different virus, because I ignored all those security warnings and went ahead on the site. So, but we want to give credit where credit is due, don't we? All right, Ricardo, thanks for the recipe. Folks, go find some old sad fruit, whip it up into some bars. You got this. Talk to you later.